Hi everybody. Today we'll be doing a bodyweight workout that you can do really anywhere with any fitness level. Now I wrote this with the beginner in mind, somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience under the belt, who can't really do a lot of the more complicated movements. They just need some very efficient, good movements to start out with. So let's go ahead and go through. Let's get started. It's going to be 20 reps of everything except for, of course, the plank, and I'll explain that one when we get to it. It's 6 exercises. They're all very efficient. They all work for the different uses. So let's go ahead and turn on some music. I'll go ahead and talk through it, and then we'll go through it. All right, first exercise is going to be high knees. So it's going to be 20 reps on each leg. You can work a quicker pace like this where you're working off your toes, or you can slow down like this and just do one leg at a time. After you've done 20 high knees on each leg, we're going to go for push-ups. Now, you can start out with a wall push-up. We're doing 20 reps of this as well. We're doing 20 reps of everything. You can start out with a wall push-up if that's easy for you. I go up on my tiptoes and then I put my hands a little bit below my shoulders. Once you've mastered that wall push-up, you can move down to having your hands on a bench on a raised surface. And then after that, we'll see we move down into a normal push-up. So we're going to move down into a normal push-up. This one's going to be a little bit harder. You have to really focus on making sure your shoulders are staying in line. You're not having any problems with those shoulders. You're not dropping your butt, and your ears are always staying in line with your shoulders, in line with your hips. Next exercise that we're going to go to is going to be a glute bridge. So for that glute bridge, you'll sit down, lying on your back with your knees up and your heels about 6 inches away from your butt on there. And then you're going to press your hips up, tightening the glutes, pressing your hips up so your shoulders, your hips, and your knees end up in a straight line. Now, if you have any problems with your knees falling inward on this, your knees falling in towards themselves, you can take a band and put that band around your knees, and then force the knees to press out against that band. That's going to be working a little bit of the outer thigh muscles. It's called the abductor muscles. In addition, what you can do once that starts to get easy is you can go for a single leg glute bridge. You'll put one leg straight out. There is another way to do it. You'll see here in just a second. It's going to be one leg straight up as well. The leg straight up is going to be a little bit harder, I believe. I tend to go towards the leg straight out, but you can go straight up with that leg as well. After that exercise, we're going to move back into a cardio movement. So we're going cardio, we're going jumping jacks on here. Now on those jumping jacks, making sure you're getting going as quick as you can on that. I generally try to stay on my toes on there, keeping the heels up. Now you can make it a little bit easier by going one step out at a time. 20 jumping jacks tends to go pretty quickly. The second to last exercise we'll be doing is going to be a plank. So on that plank, because we don't have specific reps, it's just a static hold. What I did was I counted to 20 as slowly as I possibly could. Now on this exercise, you always want to make sure your ears, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, and your heels are in line. What I always shoot for as well is I try to get my shoulders right over my elbows or even a little bit in front of the elbows. It just helps me stay in a solid plank. It helps me stay a little bit lower so I can get that straight plank. Now, you can also, if you need to make it a little bit easier, you can also go up on your hands for that plank. That's going to increase the angle. It's going to make it a little bit easier. You can also go from your knees on here. That's going to increase the angle again and make it a little bit easier as well. The last exercise on here will be just the simple squat. So I always go feet shoulder width, maybe a little bit further than shoulder width apart, and then bend at the knees. Make sure your hips are staying back. You're not going too far forward. Your knees aren't going too far forward out in front of your toes. And you're going down to at least parallel to the ground with that. Make sure you're keeping the chest up when you're doing this. You're not slouching forward, and you're going up and down, and you're not letting the knees fall in, and you're not letting the knees splay out either. The knees need to track straight in line with the toes on here. And after that, you are done. Now, I would recommend that you go through this a couple more times. One round of this should be pretty quick, so I would recommend you go through it 2, 3 more times. I'll go ahead and leave it up to play through a couple more times so that you can kind of keep checking, keep watching, making sure where you are. I'll also go ahead and put the actual workout written down at the very end again so that you can screenshot it if you need it. You can write it down if that's what works best for you. And I might talk through it a little bit more at the end as well. Alright, I wanted to put this workout at the end of the video so you could take notes, write down anything like that. I also wanted to go ahead and talk through why I chose each exercise real quick. It sometimes helps to know why you're doing what you're doing. So, of course, I went cardio, upper, lower, cardio, upper, lower. So the first one was cardio. I chose high knees. The reason I chose high knees was I wanted something that was straight up and down, that would be easy on the knees. I also wanted something that would force the person working out to be on one leg at a time. After that, I chose push-ups. Push-ups are a great all-around exercise. Of course, they force you to sneakily force you to do a plank in there. It's also working a lot of shoulders. You're getting a lot of back, a lot of the chest out of it, a lot of biceps and triceps. On top of that, it's also teaching the wrists, the elbows, and the shoulders how to how to all move together in one good functional movement without doing anything out of place. And the next one I chose was the glute bridge. Now, the glute bridge I chose because it really teaches the glutes to become prime movers again. A lot of times we walk around in our daily life and our quads might be doing too much, or our abductors, the muscles on the side of our thighs, might be doing too much, and it's taken away from the glutes, and the glutes don't get to become those prime movers anymore, and that can start to lead to back pain, to hip pain, all kinds of little problems like that. So it's very important to do that glute bridge to really teach those glutes to be prime movers again. The next one is jumping jacks. It's the cardio exercise. I wanted something on this cardio exercise that was going to be side to side. That's called the frontal plane of motion. Side to side, the other one was just up and down. This one was side to side, so it's forcing you to bring your feet out side to side. I also wanted something that forces you to bring your hands as high overhead as you can. So it's just forcing that to work just a little bit at a time, forcing you to be able to get those hands high up and just work on those little adjustments as you go on. Now the next one I chose was a plank. The plank is an all-around great exercise for the core. It's going to work a lot of the core muscles, the erector spine, that lower back. It's going to work your upper back a little bit. You're going to get a little bit of abs, your obliques out of it. You'll even get a little bit in the hips, even in your quads out of it, from having to hold yourself in that stable position. In addition to that, there weren't any static hold exercises in there, so I wanted to put something in there. And finally, the squats. Now, the squats are the basis of so much of our human movement. And so it's so useful to learn how to work, again, the ankles, the knees, and the hips, how to work those all in conjunction in a good and functional way without causing yourself any pain, and to work those muscles in addition to that as well. So, if you have any questions, anything like that, please don't hesitate to contact. Keep working out, keep working hard, and we'll see you in the next video.